I'm here with Nick, who's the author of Arclands. So tell me a little bit about Arclands.
Okay, so what Arclands is, it's for 5th edition. It is a lower magic world. We tend to find that too much magic spoils the game. And it is based around a world called Hermia, and most of the action happens in a continent called Aestis in the centre of the world. 300 years ago, a cataclysmic event has happened called the Sundering, and the one god, the Keeper, has now seemed to vanish. Chaos reigns, and magic has flooded back into the world with his absence, opening up the world to powerful entities such as demons and dimensional creatures that are now seeking to exploit that. And there are strange and ominous portents abound. We thought it was really interesting to try to create a game world from scratch that's kind of put the focus of creativity back on the players. So what we've done, for example, with our magic users, mages, is to create a system of spell forgers. And that means that the mage character now is exclusively responsible and capable of making their own spells from scratch using the kind of the mechanic that we've created. And we hope that that's going to be a more creative and sort of player-centered journey for the player to go on.
Okay, so as part of this, you've taken away all the existing spell lists and put in essentially a brand new magic system to 5th edition, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the way in which a spell works when you cast it is basically the same as 5th edition, sort of the dice roll mechanics. But how one acquires magic, how one levels up, what kind of power a spell can have, that's all completely new. And it requires much more role-playing and much more actual gameplay, so questing to find spell forgers and to the spirits of spell forgers to get them on side to allow you to make the spells. It's all, ultimately it has to be playable and doable for the character, otherwise it becomes very difficult. But we create a kind of a mechanism whereby the acquiring of spells really comes to life,
And have you made similar changes on the melee side, or is that still the same?
Not so much, but what we've done is, for example, we created new character roles such as the alchemist, where the onus on creating things like potions and powders and other magical sort of substances, that's hived away from the mage. So instead of having one super magical character that can do all things magical up here and everybody else bumbling along below, we bring the mage down a bit and bring everybody else up. For example, we have a craftsman character. The craftsmen are capable at early levels of repairing armor, but as you go up, they become more and more capable of making, firstly, expertly crafted weapons and then potentially magical ones later on. And mages, we decided to take away, they can use their own spells but not magical items, because bringing magical forces together like that is it's very dangerous. So it's about creating that sort of equilibrium, which I think ultimately no RPG will ever fully succeed in doing that. But we are trying to bring magical, non-magical and quasi-magical characters closer together within that sort of band of ability and power.
Okay. So I've been taking a little look at some of your pages here and just to grab one. I mean, they look like they're actually 5th edition pages, but the art as well, this is like really pretty.
Yeah. Well, the art, I'm going to say that the art isn't down to me. The art is down to our artist, Katia, who is, without her, none of this would have been possible. Extraordinarily talented artist who, when we first sat down to talk about this project years ago, what she was capable of doing just absolutely blew me away. So yeah, the art is really key to the whole thing. It's what brings it to life.
And you've faithfully recreated the 5e page style,
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
You've obviously you've overhauled the 5e game quite a lot as part of this project. What inspired you to do that?
Well, it's a bit of a story, but this world has been in my head since I was about 13. And when my son was born in 2014, I thought I wanted to make something for him. Hopefully he'll grow up and like role-play games. But it was at one very late night where he was a very little baby and he couldn't sleep, and I was up at 4 a.m, and I suddenly thought, that thing that I've always wanted to create, now's the time, let's do it. So a real kind of, crucial, pivotal moment, I suppose, of lack of sleep. That's the answer. Lack of sleep. That's what did this.
And is this the first time you've taken to writing an RPG product?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had dabbles in the past, but there's never been the right time. But this is the first time we've really gone for it. And the trick, and I would say this to anybody who wants to create their own RPG, the trick isn't sort of to have the most unfathomably original idea that just will, shatter the world, because I think that Neil Gaiman said that complete originality is virtually impossible, because we were all borrowing from each other. But the difference for us, the game changer, was just regularity. Meeting regularly, working regularly, writing regularly, and even if we just wrote a couple of hundred words in a week, sticking at it. And anybody else that wants to get to the point where they're bringing something to market, just stick at it. Just keep doing it.
And have a child.
Yeah, and have a child, and have no sleep, and then that will work. That will work. That's what will happen.
All right, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today,
You're
Nick.
really welcome. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks very much. And this is just another special message for everyone who's watching today, to please do donate to the Butterfly Project. It is a really special project using gaming and using innovation to help some of the world's poorest children to better their circumstances and to enjoy role-play gaming and board gaming and play at the same time, which is really important to all children everywhere.